21 million of these people are severely overweight. Many are trying desperately to lose this extra weight every day and failing. Fad dieting is a multi-billion-dollar industry that preys upon an overweight society desperately seeking an instant solution to the battle of the bulge. Dieters constantly find themselves on a weight loss roller coaster. A starvation diet, quick weight loss, then gnawing hunger, binging, and the weight gained back again. And all too often, each failed attempt to lose weight leaves us desperate, with more body fat than before the diet began. As we will see later, once the dieting stops, your body can add as much as 20 pounds to the new you. Most overweight Americans have resigned themselves to living with their weight problems because they have tried the starvation fad diets and quick fixes and found that they don't work. Many of these people are lonely, depressed, and facing life with little or no hope. But can you imagine eating as much as you want and still losing weight? In this program, we will examine a remarkable development that seems to offer a permanent solution to the problem of weight control.
I think that if I had taken this kind of thing seriously, I would have never let the weight get completely out of control, because I found that the more I dieted, the more I needed to diet, and the less I ate, the more I weighed, and it was just a back and forth thing that I was never under control, even though I felt like I was eating very small portions.
It really has changed my life for the better, and it's something that it took me 8 years to find, and it was well worth the search to find it over the 8 years, because now I know what the answer is.
I have literally been dieting since I'm about 13 years of age. My mother wanted me to be a minimum of 135 pounds, and I've never made it. I have never achieved until now.
Weight control. A fat-free future brought to you by Sybervision, the leader in personal achievement technology.
This year, we'll spend $5 billion on fad diets and quick fixes that don't work. Can you imagine never having to diet again? Sybervision, the leader in personal achievement technology, has now developed the neuropsychology of weight control. You can develop a lean, beautiful body without going hungry, without counting calories, without strenuous exercise.
Well, I had been basically overweight all of my life. I weighed 247 at my heaviest. And I realized that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life looking like that.
I was right at about 42, 43 inches in my waist at the heaviest point. Now I'm down to a 34 size.
The neuropsychology of weight control is the first weight loss program that's based on the science of burning fat. Scientists have discovered the way your body stores fat is controlled by a set point within the brain, which works like a fat thermostat, keeping your weight at a certain point. You can learn how to turn down your fat thermostat.
I weighed 237 pounds before I started the program. After I finished the program, I weighed 184 pounds and lost 53 pounds during the process. It was a great feeling.
When I go to put my arms around him, they go all the way around him now, where they used to go halfway. He's just a whole different person. And it's great to see the change in him. It makes him happier, and of course it makes our relationship better then.
And it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to my life.
Order this program now and learn how to achieve a lean, healthy body, how to turn down your fat thermostat, the 12 crucial characteristics of a lean, high-energy body, easy exercises that burn fat, eat all you want, and get thin. The complete audio cassette program with 144-page study guide, only $69.95. Complete audio program study guide and video cassette, just $89.95. And if you order now, you'll receive this personal progress journal free, a $14.95 value. We are so confident this program will work for you, we're offering a risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee and 3 easy payments if you use your major credit card. Call now for a lean, fat-free, high-energy body that will be yours forever.
I'm Richard Gebhardt. In the next half hour, we're going to examine a powerful new approach to permanent weight loss. It's a program developed by 3 American doctors, which they call the neuropsychology of weight control. Basically, it involves a simple understanding of how your body stores and burns fat. Their program combines sound eating principles, gentle exercise, and the development of a strong self-image. They say they can help us take off weight and keep it off without starving ourselves, without gimmicks, and without strenuous exercise. This year alone, we will spend $5 billion to try and lose a few pounds and fail. $5 billion. The typical dieter will spend about $400. Some of us will spend as much as $3,000 on fast loss starvation diet plans, pills, powders, and other quick fixes.
I've tried, I think, just about every kind of diet that's come out over the last few years. You know, the Beverly Hills, the Cambridge, you know, the liquid protein type diets, and none of them ever worked. It was only a short-term type of solution, where I might lose some weight initially, but then I would gain it back, and usually it appeared to me that I would gain that weight back plus a few more pounds.
Whenever I heard of a new diet or a new diet doctor, I was there, and I tried earnestly. In fact, at one point in time, I went into a hospital as a guinea pig and lived on 0 calories for 3 weeks, and I gained weight.
But if diets don't work, if we can't lose weight and keep it off, does that mean that there's nothing we can do? Not according to 3 doctors working here at Brigham Young University. They have developed what seems to be a remarkable new weapon in the battle against fat. They call it the neuropsychology of weight control. Dr. Dennis Remington is director of the Eating Disorder Clinic at Brigham Young University and an eating disorder consultant for the Utah Valley Hospital Mental Health Services.
We think it's very important that people do eat plenty, okay? Because we're convinced that by eating less and by staying hungry all the time, that merely keeps the starvation defenses triggered. So we think that one of the most important guidelines of all is to make sure you're eating enough on a regular basis that you're completely satisfying your hunger and completely satiating yourself so that your body is no longer convinced that starvation conditions exist, and it can relax and can make some changes in response to some of the things you're trying to manipulate.
Dr. Garth Fisher is an internationally recognized expert in fitness, exercise, and weight control, the director of the Human Performance Research Center at Brigham Young University.
People who are on diets will probably have a very difficult time exercising. And one of the best things we could do to them is to feed them sufficiently so that their fitness level can come up as they begin to exercise. Otherwise, they'll always be under a real problem with having enough energy to do the exercise they need to make the change. It seems like it's kind of a nasty cycle down. The person becomes inactive, and he eats less, and then he becomes unable to be active, and his body metabolic rate goes down, and this whole process takes him down and down, and until he gets in a pit where he can't dig out.
Dr. Edward Parent, a psychologist, has worked closely with eating disorder specialists in the treatment of obesity, focusing on the psychological implications of being overweight.
When a person first understands the concept that they really can eat all that their body's telling them to eat, they don't believe it because they have that great fear that food makes me fat. And when they get that new image in their minds that food is the way they'll get thin, that if they eat enough, they can lose their weight, it's hard for them, and then it's great when they finally allow it to happen, just sort of go with what their body is willing to do. As they increase their mobility and the fat comes off, it's like a whole new person emerges. That inner person that's been buried and kept in prison for so many years is free and can move and can experience all the creativity that they have set aside for whatever reason.
The key to their program lies in a remarkable discovery about how the human brain regulates fat in the body. There is an area of the brain that monitors the amount of fat stored in the body. It has a set point, like a thermostat in your home, and this fat thermostat works to maintain your current weight. The only way to lose weight permanently is to lower the set point. For example, if you weigh 150 pounds before you start a starvation diet, your fat thermostat will work to maintain that 150 pounds. Your diet restricts the number of calories which you eat. The fat thermostat interprets this restriction as the onset of starvation and builds defenses. It increases its efforts to save fat, the body's long-term storehouse of energy.
The way the body survives when the caloric intake is lowered is to rely on the stores of energy in the body to live. And it would be very nice if we could just break down the fat reserves, but it doesn't do that. It seems like the body feels like those fat reserves are a great protection against starvation. And so it seems like the body almost, in order to prepare itself or defend itself against starvation, will often break down as much muscle tissue as it does fat. And by breaking down the muscle tissue and getting rid of all of this very metabolically active substance that's usually our metabolic furnace, it gives us an opportunity then to get by with less energy. If you have less muscle, you need less energy to burn, and so you can get by with less energy. So not only do we break down the fat, but we break down a great deal of muscle tissue as well as other protein tissues. A person can break down tissue from the heart and from the kidneys and even from the brain if they keep on a restricted diet long enough.
We find that people who lose weight through dieting often lose as much as 50% of the weight in lean body mass. And so a person who's been on a dieting program and lost 20 pounds, maybe 10 pounds of that will be lean body mass after a period of time, and only 10 pounds of fat.
What happens is they do lose weight initially, but after a certain period of time of this semi-starvation, the body's natural defenses override their willpower. They come to a donut shop or a birthday party or something, they start eating. And once they start, they don't usually quit eating until they regained all the weight they had lost, plus maybe a pound or two for insurance. This is the body's set point or fat thermostat controlling them.
The only way to lose weight permanently is to lower the set point.
It makes me feel better about myself. It makes me feel more in control of my own life because I understand more now about how my body works. I found myself going down 8 sizes in my belt size. I was wearing a size 44 belt when I started on the program, and now I'm wearing a size 36. And that helped with my feeling good about myself too, although I had to go out and get myself some new clothes. But that wasn't all bad either.
I had this simple little goal to lose 10 pounds. And as I tried and tried, I seemed to lose it and then gain more and more. Then it just got worse. It made me so dang mad, and I hated seeing overweight girls and my husband. You know how men just kind of snicker. I just wanted to be the slim, gorgeous, beautiful, perfect figure. All I had to do was lose 10 pounds. And for the life of me, I couldn't do it. And for the life of me, I wasn't going to give up till I did. But if you try this, you won't have to fight hunger all day long and just do your diet for a week and then die. This can be a way of life.
You're going to live longer, you're going to feel better about yourself, and it'll be a permanent change from the outside all the way into the inside. And it's a wonderful, like I said, a wonderful way of living.
This year, we'll spend $5 billion on fad diets and quick fixes that don't work. Can you imagine never having to diet again? Sybervision, the leader in personal achievement technology, has now developed the neuropsychology of weight control. You can develop a lean, beautiful body without going hungry, without counting calories, without strenuous exercise.
So I had been basically overweight all of my life. I weighed 247 at my heaviest. And I realized that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life looking like that.
I was right at about 42, 43 inches in my waist at the heaviest point. Now I'm down to a 34 size.
The neuropsychology of weight control is the first weight loss program that's based on the science of burning fat. Scientists have discovered the way your body stores fat is controlled by a set point within the brain, which works like a fat thermostat, keeping your weight at a certain point. You can learn how to turn down your fat thermostat.
I weighed 237 pounds before I started the program. After I finished the program, I weighed 184 pounds and lost 53 pounds during the process. It was a great feeling.
Before I started the program, I weighed 291 pounds. And I've been on the program now for 9.5 months, and I weighed 164 pounds, so I have lost 127 pounds on the program.
Order this program now and learn how to achieve a lean, healthy body, how to turn down your fat thermostat, the 12 crucial characteristics of a lean, high-energy body, easy exercises that burn fat, eat all you want, and get thin. The complete audio cassette program with 144-page study guide, only $69.95. Complete audio program study guide and video cassette, just $89.95. And if you order now, you'll receive this personal progress journal free, a $14.95 value. We are so confident this program will work for you, we're offering a risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee and 3 easy payments if you use your major credit card. Call now for a lean, fat-free, high-energy body that will be yours forever.
The doctors at Brigham Young University looked at naturally slim, dynamic people and realized that they shared things too. After considerable study of these two groups, the doctors found that there were 12 principles that seemed to lead to control of the set point. And this is one of them. Any of us who've tried to diet know a few slim, active people who can eat as much as they want, while some of us seem to gain weight watching commercials. But the research has shown that there are foods that actually help to lower the set point, foods that help us lose weight.
The good news is that you can eat plenty of good, wholesome foods, all you want, to completely satisfy your desires. In fact, it's very important that you do satisfy your desires. But it has to be of the right foods. The good news also is, though, that those right foods are often the very foods that people want and the foods that they have been depriving themselves of for so long, because some of them are relatively high in calories.
I can sit down to a meal with people that are quite heavy, and they will be just sort of picking at things, and I'll be so hungry. I'll just eat, I'll eat 8 ounces of meat, and I'll eat potatoes and gravy, and I'll have a big dessert, and I'll just, I just need that energy, that extra food in my body in order to maintain the energy level that I do have. And I'll go ahead and eat, and they'll sort of maybe look at me and wondering, where on earth are you putting it all?
I couldn't believe it, and basically just couldn't believe it. I was very pleased because I like to eat. I don't like being restricted. I don't like being hindered. I don't like being denied. What a way to let the pounds go, I guess.
I was never starving myself on this program. I was always eating full meals, and I was completely satisfied with the food that I ate. I never went away from the table hungry or having that hunger feeling that I did on the other types of programs, because I just wasn't. I ate till I felt full and didn't stuff myself, and still lost weight in inches at the same time. And that, to me, is a tremendous type of concept that I think people really need to know about and be aware of, because it does work.
Well, we've seen a lot of very dramatic cases of people who have previously been dieters who then begin to eat plenty, and probably a pretty good example of that is a young gal who was a school teacher who had basically been dieting ever since her junior high school years, who had gotten to live on 1 meal a day, eating very small amounts of food, and who eventually got close to 200 pounds. And when she started on this system, where she was eating plenty on a regular basis and eating the right kinds of food, she began eating more and more food, and she claimed that she was eating close to 2,000 calories a day, and we actually measured that food intake and found that to be correct. And she was eating probably at least half again as much as she was previously eating, and yet was losing in the neighborhood of 1.5 pounds a week, week after week, week after week, for probably in the range of 7 or 8 months.
There are no quick fixes, but there are proven, safe, and pleasant techniques available, and they don't involve starving yourself. Imagine being able to eat as much as you want, getting up from the table feeling satisfied, and still losing weight. These people are doing just that.
This year, we'll spend $5 billion on fad diets and quick fixes that don't work. Can you imagine never having to diet again? Sybervision, the leader in personal achievement technology, has now developed the neuropsychology of weight control. You can develop a lean, beautiful body without going hungry, without counting calories, without strenuous exercise.
Well, I had been basically overweight all of my life. I weighed 247 at my heaviest. And I realized that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life looking like that.
I was right at about 42, 43 inches in my waist at the heaviest point. Now I'm down to a 34 size.
The neuropsychology of weight control is the first weight loss program that's based on the science of burning fat. Scientists have discovered the way your body stores fat is controlled by a set point within the brain, which works like a fat thermostat, keeping your weight at a certain point. You can learn how to turn down your fat thermostat.
I weighed 237 pounds before I started the program. After I finished the program, I weighed 184 pounds and lost 53 pounds during the process. It was a great feeling.
When I go to put my arms around him, they go all the way around him now, where they used to go halfway. He's just a whole different person. And it's great to see the change in him. It makes him happier, and of course it makes our relationship better then.
And it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to my life.
Order this program now and learn how to achieve a lean, healthy body, how to turn down your fat thermostat, the 12 crucial characteristics of a lean, high-energy body, easy exercises that burn fat, eat all you want, and get thin. The complete audio cassette program with 144-page study guide, only $69.95. Complete audio program, study guide, and video cassette, just $89.95. And if you order now, you'll receive this personal progress journal free, a $14.95 value. We are so confident this program will work for you, we're offering a risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee and 3 easy payments if you use your major credit card. Call now for a lean, fat-free, high-energy body that will be yours forever.
Fit people use other methods to control the amount of fat in their bodies. They follow a sensible eating program and have a healthy level of activity. and they're happy with themselves.
It makes you feel healthier. It makes you feel more motivated in life. In the morning, you know, when you used to feel like you could barely drag yourself out of bed, there's a much stronger feeling of energy for the day.
Basically, whenever we work into a very heavy-duty exercise program, why, there are many ill effects. The body simply is not set up to run at a high level until it's been trained for some time. Athletes, of course, work at very high levels of exercise, and they work at maximum heart rates, and they work for very long periods of time because they have to perform. And performance is enhanced by very intense work for these type of people. But for the average person, we simply are not ready for that.
Walking is the exercise that your body was built for. It was the natural, easy pace of a simple stroll that led each of the successful weight losers to begin to control their set point.
Exercise then, first of all, tends to lower the set point or the control center so that we regulate our weight at a lower level. It also tends to increase the fat-burning enzymes. There's a series of enzymes in our cells that are responsible for the burning of fat. And if we don't have those, we don't burn the fat effectively, and the right exercise tends to increase these enzymes, making us more and more able to burn fat and utilize it as a fuel.
So many times we hear from spas downtown that we should do certain weightlifting exercises because it's so great for weight control and fitness. But those kinds of exercises never work. The general rule for choosing the proper exercise is that it has to be using large muscles, it has to be rhythmic in nature, and it has to be continuous. In other words, exercises like walking are ideal. And in fact, we recommend walking as #1 for most people who have a weight problem.
Because one of the things they talked about in the weight control program was walking was one of the best things that you could possibly do to enhance the weight loss. But being as overweight as I was and knowing that it would be bad for my health to try to run, I went ahead and started on a walking program. So the whole time, the main part of my whole program was walking over that period of time. I really look forward to it. And the other side benefit of that is it really helped me in my job, relieve the pressure and the stress that I had on my day-to-day business, and it felt better as a result of that also. But it wasn't any type of strenuous activity. It was mainly walking.
I walked is what I did. I'm not much of a jogger. And I did the walking, and I really enjoyed that. In fact, when I didn't do it, I missed it.
So how you move is as important as how you eat. Strenuous exercise isn't the answer. Dr. Fish's research has shown that.
In my experience, people don't lose weight permanently unless they readjust their psychological set point. The psychological set point involves their images of themselves, how they see themselves in various situations, how they feel about themselves. In our program, there are 5 steps that they can follow to re-image themselves at a lower set point. And when that happens, then the weight loss is very natural and easy and permanent.
The role of the self-image is very, very important, I think, in this program, because I think it all revolves around your self-image. How do you as an individual perceive yourself? Initially, obviously, when I started out, I perceived myself differently than I do today. And this program helped me to realize what my self-image would be once the end result was achieved.
Starting out as a fit young man at 150 pounds and gaining quite a bit of weight, up to 200 pounds, I started to take control of my life, and I feel great, and I look a lot better than I did, and things just seem to be going my way now.
My self-esteem has just shot up. I'm a happier person. I like to be with people. I like to talk, and it's just been really great. It's opened up doors for me.
When someone starts on the program that we're advocating, they begin to eat all they want fairly quickly, and they begin to start feeling full and satisfied and comfortable, and they begin to lose all that tremendous preoccupation with food, all that tremendous hunger. They begin to get their strength back and their energy back. They start to feeling good about themselves again because they're now in control. They begin to feel more calm and relaxed. If they're having headaches, they go away. They begin to sleep better. A tremendous change occurs in these folks. It's just a transformation that's hard to believe unless you've experienced seeing both kinds of patients. And that's the exciting part to me, is not so much the fact that the weight comes down and stays off, which is very nice, but the exciting thing to me as a doctor is that these patients start doing well, physically and emotionally. They start feeling good, They start becoming healthier in many regards, and in my opinion, we're starting off a lifestyle that will prevent a tremendous number of disease states that's typical of the usual overweight situation.
I think it's very challenging when you realize how strong of a need people have to lose weight, how they come into you desperate for freedom from this bondage of the weight. And no one's simple. Everyone has their own special situations, and yet by applying the principles that we've developed, it's wonderful to see them change their lives. When you change one person, the whole family has to change, and you see a real opening up, development of talents and other aspects of their lives that they wouldn't have ever dared to do until they felt better about themselves and realized that they were important and they deserved the opportunity of succeeding in their own lives.
You know, one of the most interesting examples of success I've ever encountered was at a lecture I was giving last year. Following the lecture, a fellow came up to me, and he was lean and tan and looked very healthy and was such an impressive fellow, and he asked me if I remembered him. And I said, no, I'm sorry, I meet so many people, I just don't remember you. And he said, good, because the last time you saw me, I was not the same person I am today. And it turned out that he'd been to a lecture the year before about weight control and had followed the principles very carefully and had lost from 265 pounds down to 164 pounds, just a little over 100 pounds in that year period of time.
Medical and psychological research into how our bodies store and use fat seems to have provided us with a powerful new tool in the effort to lose weight. The neuropsychology of weight control tells us that by eating properly, exercising sensibly, and creating a new self-image, we can lose weight and keep it off.
I weigh 346 pounds. I'm now currently approximately 185 pounds. I just wish that anybody and everybody, even people that are not overweight or that don't have medical problems, would hear and listen so that they didn't get into trouble.
Well, if you're searching right now for the vehicle to lose the weight and get to the desired results, this is the program to do it.
I do recommend it to others constantly. It's an excellent program. It's not a crash, you know, cut all these things out of your life forever thing. It's just a very sound, nutritional program.
This year, we'll spend $5 billion on fad diets and quick fixes that don't work. Can you imagine never having to diet again? Sybervision, the leader in personal achievement technology, has now developed the neuropsychology of weight control. You can develop a lean, beautiful body without going hungry, without counting calories, without strenuous exercise.
So I had been basically overweight all of my life. I weighed 247 at my heaviest. And I realized that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life looking like that.
I was right at about 42, 43 inches in my waist at the heaviest point. Now I'm down to a 34 size.
The neuropsychology of weight control is the first weight loss program that's based on the science of burning fat. Scientists have discovered the way your body stores fat is controlled by a set point within the brain, which works like a fat thermostat, keeping your weight at a certain point. You can learn how to turn down your fat thermostat.
I weighed 237 pounds before I started the program. After I finished the program, I weighed 184 pounds and lost 53 pounds during the process. It was a great feeling.
Before I started the program, I weighed 291 pounds. And I've been on the program now for 9.5 months, and I weighed 164 pounds, so I have lost 127 pounds on the program.
Order this program now and learn how to achieve a lean, healthy body, how to turn down your fat thermostat, the 12 crucial characteristics of a lean, high-energy body, easy exercises that burn fat, eat all you want and get thin. The complete audio cassette program with 144-page study guide, only $69.95. Complete audio program study guide and video cassette, just $89.95. And if you order now, you'll receive this personal progress journal free, a $14.95 value. We are so confident this program will work for you, we're offering a risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee and 3 easy payments if you use your major credit card. Call now for